All right. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the first DSS break. I'll be going live here every Thursday to bring you latest news and great interviews in a 15-minute break. And I might even have some giveaways here and there for you. My name is Anna Anisin. I'm the CEO and founder of Formulated By, the home of the Data Science Salon, and I'm streaming from my home, which is also the HQ of Formulated By. And we are located in the heart of Miami, right next to the Design District, which is where I met my first guest. But quickly, before we jump in, really excited to go live, and we wanted to do a special giveaway. First people to comment will get to go to our virtual event in May, which is in 2 weeks. And that one is focused on AI and machine learning and media entertainment and advertising. So I'm really excited about my first live guest, not only because she's my friend and fellow new mom, but also because she's building something really awesome in Austin, and that's Sudozi. And we're very proud clients and use Sudozi for vendor management. And I look forward for Rose to tell me more about it today. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and dive right in. Rose, here she is. If you wanna go ahead and introduce yourself, maybe give us a little bit of a bio, that would be awesome.
Hi, everyone. I am Rose Punkunus. I did meet Anna in Miami, but I am in Austin, Texas now. Building Sudozi, we have a small and mighty team building spend optimization software that does vendor management, spend request workflows, and really helping you keep track of vendors from a relationship perspective. For me personally, it was something that I was actually looking for as a CFO, and I couldn't find the right software to do what I needed to do. And so here I am taking the opportunity to build it myself.
Awesome.
And thanks, Anna, for having me today.
Of course. No, it's great to have you here. And yeah, so I have a couple questions that I wanted to ask you, Rose. I know we only have 15 minutes, so we could just go ahead and dive in. How do you successfully manage and support remote finance teams? I think this is a really important, kind of conversation, not just for finance teams, but for any kind of teams, since everybody's been forced to go remote. Maybe you could talk a little bit about how this happens in the finance sector, because I'm sure that is, a challenge for a lot of people.
Definitely. And it's been, a little bit over a year since I would say the remote V1 has happened. And so now we're really getting into the phase where I think companies and finance teams in particular have an opportunity to revisit their initial set of policies, both internally and also with different team members. So within their own teams, thinking about, well, what cadence actually works? How many hours do you need people to be online, whether to talk through modeling or analytical things or just processes? And then the other part is, how do you interact with other team members within the company? So whether it's the head of engineering, the head of marketing, those FP&A team members need to also be in sync with the teams outside of finance. And so really having a updated policy that captures both internal as well as external team needs, I think is a super important aspect.
Yeah, no, for sure. Thank you for answering that. And just quickly to go into a different direction, how do you juggle being both a new mom and an entrepreneur and CEO all at the same time?
Yeah, it's really yeah. As we are speaking, I think my 11-week-old is going into his room with our nanny. Thankfully, we have some help, and I think the monitor might be buzzing. So if you hear some baby noises in the background, that's life these days on different meetings. You just go live in the meeting you're in, really try to dedicate and stay focused as much as possible, but also be realistic that things are going to bleed into one another, whether it's a train of thought or literally, I'm going to go mute the monitor right now. Just being flexible and taking things as they come to work through it. I think that having some time also blocking your calendar management is super important for me, and I encourage my team to do that as well. So blocking certain time slots off to whether it's focus time, thinking through a deck, thinking through a presentation, trying to structure it as much as possible, but then be open to what happens live.
Yeah, no, I think that's true. And I think for me, I just know you have two kids and I just have one, and it's hard to do it with one. So I definitely give you a lot of props for juggling two and the new business. And
so it's 2.5 kids.
I feel like as women, we always do a little bit more. So, and that's what we're kind of raised to be prepared to do, so.
Yeah, there are definitely other things in life that have sort of helped prep me for just the multitasking, whether it's athletics or going to different schools and whatnot. But I feel like it's definitely exciting, and I embrace it. And I wouldn't be doing my company, and I really am. I'm loving and passionate about everything I'm doing, which makes it a little bit easier too.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, you definitely passion has to be there, and drive and all of that. So no, that's awesome. And what is your advice for building a better communication between finance and other departments? Now we'll go back to finance again.
Yeah. So when I was in the finance role, previously I worked at Uber for a number of years, and then 2 startups, Funbox and Scale Factor. Really, it starts at the relationship level with the other executives, and really understanding and having empathy for what that department is trying to do. You can't go into a meeting being like, okay, here's my Excel, here's my budget, and boom, 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 and expect that to really resonate. So for example, on engineering, right? Like a lot of engineering decisions and investments don't pay out immediately, whether it's the team structure, whether it's hiring specific type of engineers or data centers. Some of these things are larger investments that really pay out in the long run for the business. And having an empathy and understanding about what those payouts are, and then having the conversations that then within your team translate to the financials and the models. So I think just like in any other situation, but particularly in finance, having that empathy and working with the departments, knowing what their goals are, then on the finance side, that's your job to then translate it into performance and how that impacts the company P&L. So that's what I found worked best. Definitely there are people outside of finance who like to see the numbers, and that's totally encouraged and great. But and initially, it just starts with the foundation and the relationship with those other team players.
Cool. Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. I think communication also, like, it's very, very important, especially in your teams. We're live, and a call came in and I had to reject it. So it's all good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, on that call, I'll say, digital platforms, digital communication. I'll insert Sudozi in here. One of the reasons why I made this is as we were going remote, it was really hard to capture the requests that other people were asking of finance. And I'll borrow this term from someone else I spoke with recently this week. I'm a CFO go, not a CFO no. So I want to trust and enable the people who I'm working with, and being able to have a lightweight way to capture their intent and what they're spending on, whether it's new vendors, new contractors, new tools, and not inserting myself heavily in that transaction is something I'm building Sudozi for as well. So I think communication tools, whether it be a digital call, people calling me up, or on Slack or email, that's great. But then having some tools to focus on what your priorities on between finance and those other departments.
Yeah, no, 100%. That makes a lot of sense. And what about some, for fintech content, do you have any favorites, like, podcasts or any accounts or books that you're reading or anything like that you want to share?
Yeah, so I actually am just a big fan of reading the news in general. I think Wall Street Journal covers a lot. I actually recently learned that the Wall Street Journal has a CFO section dedicated to CFOs. So I'm now subscribed to that as well. They have a number of separate, I would say, news feeds that you can subscribe to. So that's a big one. I think the finance profession overall, and this is something I'm realizing, they aren't as big of writers as some other professions, and so or content producers. And so my podcast mix has a lot of variance in it. And I'm subscribed to a lot of podcasts, but I don't listen to all the episodes. necessarily. One thing, not necessarily focused on finance, but very interesting to me in general is Econ Talk. And it really actually helps me think through the bigger picture of some of these economic challenges and topics that come on to the show. And some of them are related to sort of more micro and finance day-to-day elements. But it's really, I think for me personally, good to just have a diverse set of content that you're listening to help you be a better finance professional, or any professional that you are in.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think, again, there's, an opportunity to even create more content, right?
Definitely.
I think since you said that your industry is not really into writing that much. So,
comparatively,
the opportunity of producing more interesting content. And I actually get some newsletters from some CFO firms that are really good. They give good advice. I think the people that do that, they'll definitely stand out ahead of everybody else. So so those were all the questions that I had on my list. And we went through them pretty quickly. Maybe you could tell me a little bit how you got inspired to starting your own company. Because I think your story is really interesting, how that was kind of happened from like the whole COVID situation, right? So I think maybe if that didn't happen, Sudozi wouldn't be born.
So I'll jump backwards a little bit and then come forwards. In my background is actually I was never trained in accounting. I sort of learned a little bit of it on the job, and I by no means, there's some people who have much stronger technical accounting chops than I do. But one of the roles that I took at Uber almost a decade ago, it was just happened to be in the finance team. And while we were there, I helped actually build a version of the Sudozi platform within Uber, but it was very much related to rider and driver incentives. It wasn't fully all of the vendors. And the challenge there was we had actually hired data scientists within finance to do forecasting and modeling. But the biggest challenge was that they couldn't get the information all of the city marketers were giving out and the promotions they were giving out. So building a central platform to not only house the information about what promotions Anna was getting in Miami, or what promotions a driver was getting in Chicago, but then being able to use algorithms to then optimize on those types of promotions. And so generalizing that a little bit more, unfortunately, this last company I was at didn't really make it through COVID, but I got the idea that, look, you can build this for all vendors, right? Having that vendor information, then being able to help the finance teams optimize their expenses and optimize how they're investing their money. So it's something, it was a tool I was looking for, and I didn't see it, and I'm just giving it a shot. So that's how I am. And that's how I decided to start Sudozi here.
Cool. No, that's awesome. That's a great story. And hey, you're solving the problems that you were facing. So I think that and that's definitely going to be a success, because, that's going to change, people's efficiency and everything, how they could get things done. And that's a big deal. So really excited to see what you do with Sudozi and what other features we're going to see. And when you actually make a big splash of announcements. So that's going to be awesome. And I also wanted to mention that we also have a special for, maybe you want to mention this, Rose, that you're going to be giving away Sudozi, right? For some folks that are going to comment in the comment section.
Yeah, so there are 5 subscriptions for 6 months free that I'm going to give out to someone who's interested in commenting in this section to help the engagement of this conversation and in future data science breaks as well.
Cool. No, that's really generous. It's over $2,000 value. So that's awesome. And, as a user, we're definitely, Sudozi is helping us manage our vendors, and we have a lot of vendors that we use as a marketing firm. So it's super helpful. Thank you so much, Rose. It's been a pleasure talking to you. And, I hope to see you in Austin or Miami very soon.
Maybe both.
Yeah, exactly. Both. Yeah, that should be the plan. And don't forget, the next DSS is just 2 weeks away on May 4th and 5th, talking about media, advertising, and entertainment. And we have some amazing speakers from Hulu, Disney, Condé Nast, and more. and you can register in the comments. And thank you very much. This was a lot of fun. And I'll see you next week. And yeah, thanks again, Rose.
All right.
Talk later.
Nice to be here. Thanks, Anna.
Bye.